hosts of the OK Drama podcast.
Where two friends recap and break down K-dramas one episode at a time. I don't know why my brain just stopped working for a split second.
It's okay.
All right, we're good.
Because we made it to episode 16.
We did. And I can't believe it's over. I told Andrew today, like, that
kind
was
of
the
sad,
last
right?
episode. Like, I don't get to see them again. I
know.
love them.
I always have, like, I go through withdrawals when I finish a drama, and I'm like, but I want to keep hanging out with these people.
Yeah, I forgot that there's behind-the-scenes things, so Andrew and I can still go back and watch that, but
Yeah,
I want more full content here.
I know. I was telling Andrew at work that after I finished doing the outline for this episode, I like clicked on the behind the scenes episode, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna watch a few minutes. And then I watched like 45 minutes of it. So I was like, okay, I need to stop. I have other stuff to do. But yeah, I am really excited.
Yeah, that was really great.
Good.
My first K-drama, I loved it.
Perfect. And we'll talk more about that later.
Okay.
But let's just like get into this.
All right.
So I'm going to start the episode the way we start every episode by going over the synopses. The Kokowa synopsis says, Mo-yeon was enjoying her time with Shijin, who came back alive. Jae-young and Myungju finally made up, and Myungju's father approved of Jae-young.
Okay.
So many spoilers.
Hope everybody watched it. Yeah. Hulu says, Shijin, Mo-yeon, Dae-young, and Myungju have all come to the end of a very long separation. However, can they continue to live their daily lives happily ever after?
I hope so.
Yeah. Both of those really make me mad.
They're so spoilery.
Yeah, I didn't read any synopsis before watching the episodes, but I feel like if I was binging and I started to read like all four names, like have all come to the end of the very long whatever, like be like, oh, he makes it. Saryang's okay. Because we still don't know that at the end of episode 15.
I often read synopses, like, on Netflix or other places. I'm like, do I want to get into this? What happened? So, yeah, that would be, like, for sure, spoiler city.
I mean, we're totally spoiling everything every episode. But people know to watch it at least beforehand.
Exactly.
Whereas on Hulu, you're not necessarily listening to a pod and, like, getting those spoilers. I don't know. Those are both bad synopses.
Also, I feel like some of the thumbnails are, like, super spoilery.
Yes.
There's the show I'm watching on Viki right now, Encounter. So good, also. Like, every freaking thumbnail is them, like, together. And so there's a lot of tension, like, will they stay together? Won't they? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all I have to do is look at the freaking thumbnails to know.
God,
like,
come on,
and
people.
Then, same with What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. You're like the spoiler alerts for What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. But it ends in a pretty traditional fashion. The last thumbnail is her in a freaking wedding dress. And you're like...
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. And especially, like, if you don't have the show sorted from, like, newest to oldest or whatever, like, you'll see, like, episode 16
at
first.
the top.
Yeah, you're like, well, I know how it ends. Cool.
Pretend like I didn't see that. Okay.
Exactly.
Jeez.
So, I guess let's get into it. Okay, so episode 16 picks up where episode 15 ended. We see Shijin walking through that mini Albanian desert up to Mo-yeon, and she falls, like, running up that sandy hill, and he comes and picks her up, and the, like, I Will Always Love You song is, like, jamming really loud. And then, like, fucking Shijin goes up to her and says, it's been a really long time.
Yeah.
I feel like this line is simultaneously super cheesy, but also really cool, like, at the same time. He's very good at pulling off cheesy lines. Like, because I feel like if it were anyone else, I would just be like, stop it. But with him, I'm like, it has been a really long time.
That's also because you're in love with him, so.
Maybe. Did you think it was a dumb line?
I didn't think it was dumb, but I was just like, oh, fuck, yeah, obviously it's been a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think her reaction is along what I would envision myself doing. Mm-hmm. And I'll let you talk about that portion.
So, Mo-yeon is like, yeah, dude, it has been. Basically what Jill said. So she keeps repeating and questioning, like, you were alive? And so it's kind of like her tone keeps going back and forth between, like, you were alive and you were alive. Like, you know, and she's crying and they're hugging each other really hard. Like, that's a beautiful hug. Beautiful on-screen hug. And so after that, she calls him a jerk. And then she walks away and, like, turns her back on him. And then, like, we see her start to process everything. And so she goes through, like, a range of reactions, which you and I both loved. So then she hits him. And then she says she missed him. And then she says that she doesn't need him or anyone else. And one of the quotes was, "I'm gonna be a monk." And then she finally goes up to him and hugs him. And she tells him that she loves him. And so he's, like, cradling her head. It's, like, really sweet.
Yeah, I enjoyed that scene a lot. I liked seeing the many faces of Mo-yeon.
Yeah, like all the jump cuts to her just like crying and then like
mad and looking away, walking away, hugging him, pushing him away.
It's really sweet.
Oh, I love it. Back in Urk, it's snowing. So we saw this scene already too. It's kind of doing a repeat of both of their moments. Mo-yeon is eating ramen with Kim Ki-bum, and she steps outside because it's snowing, and apparently it's been 100 years since it last snowed. It's what Kim Ki-bum tells her. And I was thinking, like, remember last time when I was like, I wanted her to turn around and look at the snow, and Saudi Young pops a big ol' head in the window, and she gets really happy, you know, like, super shocking, because not only is it snowing, but he's there. And that didn't happen, and that made me sad. But this time, she, like, walks outside to be in the snow, and then, like, in the distance, you see him walking up towards her.
Oh, chills.
And her eyes start, like, welling up, and his eyes are really red. He looks really rough. He's in, like, a little sling. But he's walking like he's pretty cool and badass in the snow. And then another soundtrack song starts playing really loud, and they're crying at each other, staring at each other. And Saudi Young says, "My answer is very late. I won't break up with you." I think that's good. A much better line than "It's been a long time."
It is.
I mean, they're both very different dudes. And their personality with their ladies is very different, I think. Like, Shijin is very silly. He's like that with everyone. But I think Saudi Young's first line here is just super romantic and beautiful. And perfect for the moment with the snow and everything. And Mo-yeon starts crying, Youngju starts crying, and she's hitting him over and over again. But they're like weird little soft hits. Like the softest little hits you could ever give, like a baby's hitting him.
It's like she's has her hand like balled into a fist, but then she's kind of just like tapping him, like as if her fist was like a mini hammer or something. Like,
exactly.
Dink, dink.
She keeps doing it over and over again, and then he just grabs her and kisses her, and she keeps hitting him. It's super intense, but they're kissing, and it's beautiful, and it's so romantic, and I'm so happy because he's alive, and it's incredible. And then we see Kim Ki-bum being I know he's being an amazing little leader, and he's telling all the dudes what they need to do, and the guys like go on to get whatever shit they're supposed to, and Saudi Young walks in, and Kim Ki-bum stares at him and just starts crying.
I'm gonna cry.
Me too. I was watching this scene and I just went, oh, Kim Ki-bum.
I love him.
I know, God. His reaction was just so incredibly sweet. Oh my God. I could not, like, the scenes with the girls and the guys was already sad enough, but just something about their relationship together, it was so beautiful.
It's, like, so pure. And then, like, Kim Ki-bum is, like, still, like, at attention or whatever.
Yeah, and he's just ugly crying. And Saudi Young asks him how his test went. And Kim Ki-bum is still crying. And he's just like, I passed. And I graduated. And it's super intense, but so incredibly beautiful. I loved that moment so much.
Yeah.
My eyes, like, really watered up there.
Yeah, I just cried right now. I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, I think, obviously, like, the romantic relationships are great, but the relationship between Dae-young and Kim Ki-bum is, like, one of my favorite of all time.
It's just such a great relationship between two friends.
And, like, one that you don't see very often.
Especially in, like, American television, I feel like. It would come off as, like, quote-unquote gay. That's so gay or whatever. You know, like, this is just such a pure, beautiful friendship that everybody should have. And I think it's beautiful.
It's so sweet. I love Kaitlin. I love him. So, then we cut to Myungju taking care of Daeyoung. And like Jill said, like, he comes and he looks beaten up, basically. And he has, like, a makeshift sling on. And she shaves him, which I thought was kind of interesting, but okay. And he tells her that...
Could you ever shave anyone? Side note?
Oh, no.
I don't think I could either.
I barely feel comfortable cutting Alex's hair with, like, scissors. Yeah, especially with what she was using to shave. Like the straight razor. Like Sweeney Todd vibe.
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
No, I could not either. But it looks like she's doing a fabulous job. So
very nice, clean shave.
But I like that they stop the conversation and he just has, like...
I noticed that, too.
What is that called? Like a goatee?
Yeah, but it's, like, perfectly straight. Like, she did such a great job.
Like, oh, yeah, under all that shaving cream was just the most perfect, like, whatever, little goatee. So he tells her that he won't die again, which... is kind of sweet or whatever. And she was like, you're lying. And he was like, even if I die, I won't die again. Which I thought was an interesting line.
Yeah, a weird line, but I think I understand it.
Like, he won't die like that again. Yeah. Right? Like, when he does pass on, it'll be, like, on their own terms, maybe?
And he'll always be there with her for her instead of just fucking disappearing in some unknown country because none of that was... ever relayed to anybody.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Weird.
So they start talking about how Shijin is and how he got there and what happened to both of them. And Daeyoung explains that the militia saved them from the bomb attack but kept them hostage underground. And, like, we see this in a flashback and the dudes do not look good.
Yeah,
like,
it's bad. Especially
Shijin, because he has, like, a super swollen eye. Which, like, props to the makeup team or whatever for making his eye look like that, like
nasty.
Yeah. And I thought it was also interesting how, like, in the flashback they did, like, the black and white filter, but you could only see, like, the red. I was like, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
But then the North Korean soldier comes and he kills the guys keeping them hostage and gets them out. And he says it's as repayment for the cookie.
That was an exciting moment. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
I knew they get rescued, but I could not remember if it was the North Korean or the Americans. So I was like, I thought it was the Americans, but then I was like, oh no, it's him. Okay.
Yeah, that was exciting to see.
So then we see Shijin hanging out in Moyeon's tent area. And he explains how he got help from a friend. And he's already back to being, like, his flirty
goofy
self. And Moyeon goes to hug him. And she squeezes him too tight on his IV. And she says that she's sorry. And he says he's the one that should apologize. And then we see him thinking about all the times he's been, like, in a really bad spot.
Oh, God. At that moment, Andrew and I were like, fuck, he got hurt a lot in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Like... I forgot when fucking August shot him. I feel like it's been so long already.
Yeah, totally. And that was like episode 10 or something.
So
like,
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That dude. Fucking knife, like...
Oh, yeah.
Noise.
F1.
Yeah. So then he tells her he won't do it again. And she's like, okay, whatever. And I was thinking, like, do you think he... has, like, PTSD, because, like, he looked kind of troubled, like, thinking about all the shit that he's had to go through.
Yeah, and also, he's had flashbacks of, like, his Sunbae getting shot, and then having to shoot August. Like, he has a lot of fucked up memories in there. And I wonder, like, because he's so silly and sweet, and it's almost like that thing with comedians where they're so funny, but then, like, deep down, they're really sad and depressed. And I wonder if he has issues with everything he's gone through and witnessed and had to do.
Maybe.
Pretty crazy. We're, like, delving deep into these characters and their minds at this psyches. Point. Yeah. What are they really like? Mm-hmm. So while they're in her little tent area, he asks her what the little cart of fruit is, and she tells him it's his memorial ritual food, because today is actually his death anniversary. And that brings us to our Say What. What you say? Well, I'm just asking. Say what?
Say what?
Say what? Please explain.
Okay. So, the death anniversary. It's kind of a complicated topic, and I'm, like, very sorry if I offend anyone, because it's really complicated.
Just please write to us and tell us how Kaitlin was wrong.
Please. I've heard of this, and I've seen it on many Korean dramas, but based on my, like, preliminary research, it seems like every family has their own thing, and there's, like, the super traditional way, and then there's the kind of updated modern version, but the death anniversary. So basically it's, the anniversary of someone's death, and in Korean culture, they celebrate on that day. Or, not celebrate, but they have some sort of, like, service on that day. And Moyeon uses the word jesa, which is the memorial ceremony where you remember your ancestors or the dead. And so it's kind of similar to Dia de los Muertos.
That's kind of what I was thinking with all the food and stuff.
So basically, Moyeon on the little cart, like, she has rice and she has incense and she has, like, apples and some other fruit. And I think she has, like, some fish on there. And so basically, there's, like, a lot of symbolism behind it. Like, red fruits are, like, supposed to be good for some reason, and they're kept on one side. And then you have the rice to symbolize another thing. And it's, like, really complicated. But basically, you do that so the spirits can come back and they can enjoy your offerings. Very similar to, again, Dia de los Muertos.
Definitely.
And if you see other K-dramas, like, I haven't seen in a K-drama where they do, like, the full ritual, because there's, like, a lot of bowing and kneeling involved, and, like, in super traditional Korean stuff, like, only the men are allowed to do that. So, like, the women, what they do, like, their contribution is making the food and, like, setting it up, and then the men, like, do the bowing and they eat the food.
Okay.
Which kind of sucks, but so anyway, yeah, so in other dramas you'll just see people, like, go to the grave site or, like, to the little mausoleum, is that what they're called?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'll, like, maybe put, like, a piece of fruit, like, next to their picture, or something really small. But, like, I feel like in Western culture people may remember the, like, day that someone died, but I feel like it's not a big, like, event.
Yeah, if anything, you'll take, like, flowers or something.
But, like, in a lot of the K-dramas I've seen, like, people, like, get really dressed up, like, they put on suits and they go, and it's, like,
it's a day. Interesting. So at this point, when she says that to him, she's made the connection between the two. Her boyfriend showed up on his death anniversary, and she's kind of like, wait, you ghost. And so at that point, some guy comes in and she's like, hey, do you see that guy over there? And he's like, yeah, he's very handsome. I thought that was Is he your boyfriend? And I started laughing at that too. Like, oh man, of all the things to say.
He's very handsome.
He's very, very handsome. And Shijin at that point is like, what? Like, you're a fucking doctor. You thought I was a ghost? What? And then she tells him to eat the fruit because it'll be good for him, blah, blah, blah.
I like how he's like, you studied science. I'm like, okay. So Shijin obviously does not believe in ghosts. He's a science guy. And so this next part is, like, one of my favorite parts.
Same.
So Moyeon gets a video call from the medical staff. And they're just, like, calling to check in on her since she's in Albania.
And it's the death anniversary.
Yeah. And, like, she turns and they see Shijin in the background eating from his, like, ceremonial table. and they freak out. It's so
good.
funny.
It's so good.
And they're like, I wonder if she sees him. Does she see him? Like, he's eating the food. It's so funny. And so, like, I think at that point, like, they freak out and they drop the tablet.
Yeah.
And then they call her back, and Mo-yeon's like, I think they figured it out. But no. Lee Ji-hoon is telling her, like, through tears that she needs to express all of her grief and move on so Shijin won't have any attachments to the world so he can move on to the next life. So funny. Which, this is kind of like a side note, but the woman who wrote this drama also did Goblin. And in Goblin, there's, like, a lot of ghosts, basically. And so I thought that was interesting because a lot of the ghosts in Goblin, like, they're ghosts because they haven't let go of some sort of thing that's been bothering them. And so until they do that, like, they're stuck. And that jerky commander is, like, a super scary, intense ghost in Goblin.
It's funny.
Yeah. But anyway, Lee Ji-hoon is so funny. So, then she's like, no, he's fine. And Shijin says hi. And then they realize he's alive. And they're all really happy. And it makes me really happy seeing them so happy that he's alive. It's really sweet.
I love that scene so much. I was cracking up watching that. Oh, God.
What did Andrew do?
He was just laughing. We were both just like, oh, my God.
It's really silly.
So ridiculous, but so good. I can imagine, like, somebody totally falling for that. I mean, he's been dead a fucking year.
Yeah. And she's in Albania.
And she's, like, looking away. She didn't announce, like, oh, my God, guess who's alive?
Yeah.
She just started talking to them. So, like, I would have thought it was a fucking ghost.
Yeah, especially because he's at his death ceremony.
And he's not, like, paying attention to her or the phone either. He's just there eating. It's so good. I love it. We skip forward to Shijin and Sao Young, and they go back to their base in Korea. Myungju's dad is there. And they, like, go to salute him. And he just goes in and gives them a really big hug, which is super sweet. And he basically tells them, like, I'm glad you guys are alive and y'all came back. And the jerky commander starts trying to talk to them. But the rest of the Alpha team finds them. And so they're all, like, shouting and screaming and excited. And everybody just ignores that commander, which I think is wonderful. Finally. Like,
even the people higher than him or whatever. Like, people
they all, like, left. And Shijin and Dae-young went to go and hang out with the dudes. Really great. And then Shijin makes a joke about how he's more afraid of A4 paper than C4, which is an explosive. This is while Sao Dae-young has to write the report. Well, they both are supposed to write a report. But Shijin's reasoning is, no, I think only one of us should write it. So that way our facts line up. Because if we both write it, it might not make sense all the way. And it's going to make sense. And I like how they also talked about how maybe we should put in that we try to escape once a month. No, let's do it twice a month. Yeah. Trying to make themselves sound like really badass. Yeah.
Because they were like, ridiculous. We can't talk about how much we got beat up. That'll make us look bad.
God.
And I love how Shijin's like, they're not going to double check with the militia, right?
Yeah. And then Sao Dae-young says he's going to base it off of the Bourne series since Myungju likes Matt Damon.
Yeah,
too good.
Yeah, Shijin says, you should base it off of Rambo. And he's
That's
like,
right.
No, the Bourne series.
God.
So then Shijin and Mo-yeon are back at the cafe where she dumped him. And she asks if he'll keep doing the special forces stuff. And we're kind of like, uh-oh.
Here we go again.
Yeah, because she's he says, like, are you going to dump me again? And she says something like, maybe. But they kind of go through all of the stuff that they've gone through this whole freaking show. And she tells him that she won't object anymore since it's no use. And she says, be grateful for a girlfriend like me.
Very true.
So they're just kind of, like, chatting. And she says that they should go fishing since it's therapeutic. So then we cut to them, like, at a little campsite and them fishing. And they flirt a little bit, and they talk about sharing beds and whatnot. And then, like, Mo-yeon catches a fish, and...
It's a huge fucking fish. It's so big.
I know. And then, like, Shijin's afraid to touch it. So, blah, blah, blah. Cute fishing scenes.
It's kind of a random scene, but...
It is.
It is okay.
Yeah. And, like, you see them, like, cuddling in the tent, and they talk about going back to Urk. And she tells them that they'll go, but it'll be on her terms, and it'll be a surprise. And Shijin will have to wait, just like she did. So then we cut back to poor Dae-young, like, stuck writing the report.
While his friend's on a date.
I know. And then he gets a call from Youngju, and she still can't believe that he's alive, and she keeps confirming it with Kim Ki-bum, which is kind of sweet, but also sad. Mm-hmm. And then Dae-young says... I think she's like, well, I'll call you. And he's like, okay, well, you might not be able to reach me tomorrow because we're escorting a VIP. And then we see the guys, like, getting ready for their mission. They're, like, securing the area. It's really dramatic.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be Red Velvet. And they do, like, a little USO number.
Yeah, it was really dramatic. And then at one point, Andrew was like, oh, my God. Because he figured it out. And then I was like... Oh my God. Like 5 seconds after him, I got it.
Yeah, because I kind of spoiled it. And I told Jill, like, oh yeah, Red Velvet is in one of the episodes of Descendants of the Sun.
Because another spoiler, we're going to go see Red Velvet in February.
Exciting.
And I don't know much about them. I need to, like, start listening now before the show. But to prepare me for all this fun, you told me they were on an episode.
So yeah, the guys in the show are, like, flipping out. And it's really funny to me. Like, they
have signs.
Yeah, they have signs. I think they translated to, like, Red Velvet trumps angels and, like, stuff like that.
And Red Velvet trumps my girlfriend.
Not a great look for our guy.
No. And Sao Dae-young, I could not get over those dance moves he was doing.
The best.
They were, like... very fast and kind of, like, robotic looking, but so good.
And his face is so serious.
So serious. I loved it. Oh, God, it was amazing.
So funny. And, like, I like... So, in a lot of K-pop, they have, like, fan chants that go along with the song. And I don't know any of them because I'm not, like, a huge K-pop person. I'm, like, mildly into K-pop, I would say. But I love how all the soldiers, like, know the fan chants. It's so funny.
I really enjoyed that scene. It was really ridiculous, but amazing.
Did you like Red Velvet?
I did, yes. And I've seen a couple of videos. You sent me one, and then I saw another one, and I enjoyed them. They're super cute.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch some more videos and then see the full thing in person.
Exciting.
Yeah. But after this scene happens, it cuts to everyone having lunch at the hospital. And Lee Chi-hoon sees a video of the boys online, and they're all, like, dancing, and they're saying, like, Red Velvet trumps my girlfriend or whatever. And Nurse Choi goes over to Mo-yeon, and she's like, look at this. And Mo-yeon gets super pissed off. And then she says on her talk show that she doesn't have a boyfriend. She, like, makes the girl basically ask if she has a boyfriend just so she can say she doesn't, which is incredible.
Yeah, so funny.
And then... Shijin's kind of just like, so you don't have a boyfriend. What am I? And she reveals that she also saw a broadcast where Shijin was acting like he didn't have a girlfriend either. And then there's just a funny back and forth between the two of them. And then it cuts to Sao Dae-young and Youngju having to have their same discussion. And both guys this time coordinated their stories about evil editing.
And he said, sounds like they're on Drag Race.
Yep. All that bad editing.
Blame it on the edit.
Blame the edit. Everyone says don't blame the edit, though. Don't. So good.
Funny. I know. I love how I think Shijin at one point says, like, I was cheering because I saw one of my commanders or something really dumb.
Yeah, and I forgot what she said. Like, if you jump up and down when you see your commanders, too. God. These dudes.
I know. So funny. So at the end of their little argument, Shijin tells Mo-yeon that he's not a captain anymore. And she freaks out, thinking he got fired, but he actually got promoted. And she's all happy knowing he's getting a pay raise. So we see she's kind of back to her materialistic ways. And And then we see Shijin get promoted. And Moyeon has a voiceover basically talking about how awesome Shijin is. And how she's the face of the hospital again. So we're kind of like going through time pretty quickly at this point.
I was wondering if he's off of captain and he gets promoted. Is he still going on alpha team runs? Or would that mean maybe he's not in as much crazy danger
I don't know.
as he had been?
That is a good question. I'm not
Because that would be another reason to be very excited. Like, oh, he got promoted. He's not really, like, going to be in an intense fight or anything.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't go to so many, but the ones he does go to are, like,
the worst.
Intense. Yeah.
God. Okay.
I don't know. Let's just say for the sake of the podcast and our hearts that he's going to be in less danger.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, we'll go with that. And then we see Saohyang and Myungju. They're back together again. And she's forgiven him for the red velvet stuff, which is sweet. Whatever. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. He's just being a goofball. And they're going to meet Myungju's dad the next day. And Saohyang says he won't take off his uniform unless Myungju is taking it off. A reference from episodes past. And then the next day, they go to see her dad. And he's super confident. They're holding hands. And then before they can really talk or say anything, Myungju is like, I'm pregnant.
So dumb.
Oh, God. And everyone is just very quiet in the room. The two guys look super uncomfortable. And Saohyang's like, what the fuck? And she's like, it's a strategy.
Yeah, he's like trying to pull his hand away.
Like, no, like, this isn't right.
Grabbing it super tight.
God. So they all sit down together. And then the guys start talking. And Myungju's dad tells her to stay still. Because she's got a mouth on her.
She's just making everything worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And Saohyang says he won't be able to keep his promise because he still loves being a soldier, even while he was locked up. And he doesn't think the country should lose a soldier like him, which I think is true. He's super honorable, and I think he does a great job. At this point, Myungju's dad tells him it's an honor to have him as a son-in-law, which is really nice to hear after basically saying, like, you're not worthy of my daughter. This is a really, like, 360 here.
Yeah. It's a good moment for him.
Yeah, Myungju starts to cry and she jumps over and hugs her dad. It's a really nice moment between all of them. Good to finally see at this point in the series.
Definitely.
Episode 16.
I know. And like this could have been resolved a lot sooner.
Yeah, seriously.
But it is a nice resolution. So then we see Myungju go to the hospital to catch up with Moyeon and drop off a card for her from Fatima in Urk, which is really sweet. I like how Fatima wrote in Korean. Like, that's really sweet. And so basically she just says, like, thank you, love you, Merry Christmas, blah, blah, blah.
All's well.
And so apparently Myungju also gave a little video message to Lee Chi-hoon.
God.
So Lee Chi-hoon logs on to Dr. Song's computer with the password Dr. Song is a genius, or something like that. And he watches a video from Blecky, aka Chwadi, who has a goat now. I'm
Chwadi's got a Chwadi.
So exciting. So happy for him. He's wearing those, like, shoes that Lee Chi-hoon gave him. Those, like, super limited edition, like, probably shouldn't be worn.
In Urk.
Especially in Urk. With a goat. And so, like, he basically is, like, saying, like, hi, whatever. And then he's like, this is Blecky. Like, he named his goat Blecky. And then he says, my name is, and then the goat, like, right over his name.
I love how many times that clip plays. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It plays, like, 5-6 times, and then Lee Chi-hoon even gets
headphones.
Yeah, he's, like, trying to listen again, like, those aren't gonna help you, dude. That fucking goat is all over that.
And he's like, why the bob? He's like tortured. And he basically is like, he's just gonna be Blecky to me from now on. Like,
I give up.
He's Blecky.
He's Blecky to us too. It's okay.
So funny. I love how I feel like this episode is maybe the funniest out of...
Truly, it is, yeah. Especially after how sad the last episode was.
They needed to end on a high note.
Yeah, lighten the mood a little.
So then Nurse Ha is like, hey, don't close that computer. Like, I kind of want to look at it. And so she decides to try to find the wild bird folder on his computer. And this is from when the earthquake happened. And he tells her, if I die, go find this folder on my computer and delete it. And so I think everyone kind of thought it was porn or something.
Secret Dr. Song thing.
Yeah. What did you think it was?
I wasn't sure. I mean, a naughty file would make sense, but also, like, why would he tell her?
Right.
You know, like, that was a little bit strange. Like, what the fuck? But I wasn't sure what was in there.
Yeah. Okay, so she finds it, and he has folders labeled 10s, 20s, 30s. And she gets mad. She's like, I'm gonna slap him 10 to 30 times. But then she opens it, and she sees that it's pictures of her and, like, her and him together throughout their lives, and she starts to cry.
At first, when I was watching this with Andrew, I was like, what? And I was like, I thought he had, like, a secret family at first. Like, who is this little child? Who are these kids? And then you realize when he gets to the 20s and 30s, when she gets to the 20s and 30s, that it's her and the two of them. It's like, oh, okay.
It's sweet. And so after that, like, Nurse Ha's kind of, like, in a daze.
Yeah.
And she's walking around the hospital, and she, like, bumps into someone, and she falls down. And then Dr. Song, in typical fashion, like, runs up to her, like, oh my god, are you okay? And he, like, helps pick her up. And he tells her that he knows that she saw the wild bird folder because she deleted it. Like, what the fuck?
Why, though?
And he asks her why. And she asks, like, well, why do you have all those pictures? And he tells her,
I gave a big aw here when I watched. I was like, oh.
So sweet. Okay, so he tells her he was saving them for when he proposes. So cute. I can't. Okay, so he wants to show her that from when they knew each other, like when they were 10 years old to into their 30s, that it was always her that he loved. Oh, that's so sweet. I love them. And she asks if it's pity, and he tells her no, it's love. And so she tells him not to do anything, and he's like, what? And she says that she'll be the one to confess when she's paid him all of the money back. And then she runs away from him, like, all cutesy.
And I love how he's like, wait, where are you gonna get the money from? Borrow it from Moyan? Like, running after. God.
Did you like that resolution?
I did, yes.
Good. Because I know last episode you were like, I want
to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Good.
They're sweet.
I know. I love them.
We cut to Moyan and Shijin at a car wash. And I noted that, like, the car wash looked really nice. Like, it was all glass. It's not like the dingy-ass car washes here. Like, yeah. I don't know. They're just so grimy looking. Especially not the drive-through ones, but, like, the ones you park in.
The self-serve
one.
Yeah.
Like, this one was really cool looking just because it was glass and, I don't know.
Looked clean.
It looked very clean. I don't know. Anyway, her car's name is Big Boss. And he was a little bit frustrated by that. They have a cute little flirtatious scene at the car wash. She accidentally sprays him with water. We have a little callback to when Shijin put his jacket on Moyan and says, like, I can see right through that. I don't want other guys to see that. So this time she says she doesn't want girls to see him. Blah, blah, blah. Super cute.
Yeah.
And then we see Myungju and Sada Young on base in Korea together. And she's teasing him and making him uncomfortable while they're trying to eat. She's joking about making him sick or breaking something so he can come visit her in the infirmary. And she's telling him, you can't go to Canada with a broken bone. And you're kind of like, huh? But apparently, Dr. Daniel and Hee-hwa are getting married.
Hooray.
Which is very exciting. And it was always, like, weird about their relationship and what they were to each other. So it's cool to get resolution there, too, for these characters we haven't seen in a bit. And also with Fatima earlier, getting that resolution. And so the first time Dr. Daniel married Ewal was to bring her into Canada after her family was murdered, since her father treated all types of patients, even those seeking independence, which is a really dark thing to learn. Like, and I think it's Lee Chi-hoon that says that, too. Or was it Myungju?
I think it was Myungju, and then Lee Chi-hoon is, like, talking to the girl nurses.
Gotcha.
And they're like, well, he told me this.
Because they're
Nurse
Ha and Nurse Choi are very upset that he's getting married. Both in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Especially Nurse Choi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she looked so sad.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's getting married. So, Myungju says that Yewa told her the story after hearing about Jae-young, and he asks if she read the will. And she says no, and so he recites it from memory, which is really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't believe that he memorized it, so she pulls it out of her pocket, which it's kind of crazy that she still carries that around with her, but it's, like, sad but sweet also at the same time. And she confirms it. And he says that he memorized it because he wrote it over 100 times. Because that's how many times he wanted to run to her. Huh.
He has, like, the most romantic lines.
He does. And especially because, like, coming from him, like, I feel like when he says something, like, he really means it.
Yeah, he's so serious about it.
Mm-hmm. He then orders his subordinates in the food hall area thing to close their eyes so that he can kiss her. And so, like, he kisses her on the forehead, which is sweet.
And then, I was like, close their eyes for that?
I
know. But then all the guys were still like, oh.
Yeah. And so then Myungju is like, do the same. Like, my subordinates close their eyes, which also includes Jae-young.
I like that. She's like, you too.
And so she goes over to him, and they basically start making out.
And then we get more hoots and hollers.
Yeah, and they're like,
dudes.
yeah!
God.
Uh-huh. So, Myungju and Shijin are back at her place, and they're just, like, doing normal couple stuff, like eating snacks and drinking beer and just hanging out, which I love seeing them like that. It's like, calming, I guess.
After everything.
Yeah. And so, he asks her why she was the representative for her graduating class, because she's, like, in the picture, like, doing the oath or whatever. And they joke around for a bit more, like, oh, she did it because, like, she owed them the most money or whatever. Like, they're just kind of teasing each other.
Yeah. And then it cuts to new doctors graduating and taking their oaths. And it goes back and forth between that and the new Special Forces soldiers taking their oaths. And then we see Shijin and Moyan watching on. And then Moyan decides that it's time to go back to Urk. So she's just kind of, they're having this little moment of kind of, I would say, like, their past and everything that they've gone through with their careers and what that means to them, taking that oath for the citizens of their country and for their country, you know?
And, like, humanity at large.
Yeah, taking care of just people and loving what they do, because I think they both really do. And then Moyan decides that it's time to go back to Uruk. And so they go to the beach to put that giant rock back. And she teases him about going there with another guy. And they flirt a bit more, chase each other around. Super cute. They're adorable. She's wearing sensible shoes this time. And they have a really romantic moment where they're sitting on top of that old boat. And she's drinking wine. And they have just a couple of cheesy lines to each other. And everything's just really sweet. And it's nice to see in these last moments. Like, everything's coming up for everyone.
Yeah. And I feel like these, like, really sweet and kind of cheesy moments, they feel, I don't like using the word earned because I feel like it's kind of pretentious, but I feel like they're kind of earned because we've seen these two people go through so much and so much drama that it's, like, relieving to see them be cheesy with each other.
Yes.
It's not like...
After many near deaths.
Yes. Because I feel like sometimes with, like, Nicholas Sparks stuff, you're kind of like, okay, like...
Yeah.
Let's get over that.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Move on.
With them, it's just like, yes, you deserve this. Like, you deserve happiness.
Yeah. You've been through so much.
So they promise each other that they'll find each other in the next life, too. Again, that's kind of like a plot point in Goblin, which... after watching this and then, like, watching Goblin, I was like, oh, because Goblin came out.
Ties.
Yeah, Goblin came out, I think, the year after this.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm like, I guess this writer had a lot on her mind. So, like I said, they say they're going to find each other in the next life, too. And Shijin asks what Mo-yeon wished for on the shooting star that they saw. And she says that she wished for him to kiss her.
Super cute.
Super cute. So they also basically start making out. And it's, like, really cute. But did you think some of the shots were kind of awkward?
I felt like it was maybe a little long.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's why it appeared awkward.
There's two shots specifically. So there's one where, like, Shijin's kind of, like, holding her, and they're kissing. And Mo-yeon is sitting there, like, not... Almost like she doesn't really
not
look
touching
into
him.
it. Yeah, like, she has her arms at her side, and her feet crossed. Like, it's just kind of awkward.
Yeah, that's a little awkward.
And then... There's one where they're really up close on their faces. So you can see, like, their lips really clearly. I was like, okay. I feel a little
That's some
uncomfortable.
super zoom. We're really getting into this makeout session.
But, again, I'm just so happy for them. So.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's fine. I love them. So then we see the whole gang in Canada for the wedding. Which I'm kind of bummed that we didn't get to see Yewa and Dr. Daniel, because Nurse Choi was, like, again, still kind of sad. But she's like, her dress was perfect. It was so unique. Like, you know, just kind of fawning over them. And then they have a very self-aware ending. Like, Lee Chi-hoon addresses the audience.
Us.
Yes. And he's like, hey, we did it. Isn't this a great ending?
So strange, because that doesn't happen anywhere else in the show.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the credits, like when you're at a movie theater or something, and like halfway through the credits, you see characters be like, you know, pop out. And I guess it kind of functioned like that too, because at least on Viki, you could see like a bunch of like,
same
credits or whatever scrolling at the bottom. And then the power goes out. And you get to hear, like, a bunch of people being like, what the heck? And I like how you can hear Myungju say, kiss time? In English. And the different characters are asking, like, what's going on. And then the lights come back on. And this, like, really awkward server girl.
Her acting.
I know.
So uncomfortable.
I saw a tweet. And I so agreed with it. It was basically like, where are these, like, K-dramas finding these, like, English white actors? Like,
they're so
it's
not
so
good.
bad. And I wonder, like, if it's just because there aren't a lot of, like, white English-speaking actors
in Korea.
Yeah, or...
Because I guess it would be, like, tough to get working actors from America flown out to South Korea.
Yeah, for such a small part.
Yeah.
For the one line.
That they're probably just getting, like, locals.
Yeah.
People that are doing, like, teaching jobs for a year or something, like what your mom would be doing.
Yeah.
Your mom's going to be on a K-drama one day.
It's just, shouting, it's a volcano! But yeah, God. I was like, I feel like I could be an actress, like...
Better than...
as I could be... an American in a K-drama easily. And I've never acted past, like, middle school, so past middle school theater. So then everyone's like, okay, here we go again. And I'm like, why? You're in a building, like, they have...
This is Canada's problem.
Right? I'm thinking, like, they have their own emergency services.
Yeah, like in Uruk, you guys were literally the only people to help.
Yeah.
That's not the case here. Like, if anything, you might hinder these medical and emergency crews.
I know, like, I feel like the Canadian, whatever, military are gonna be like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Like, we need to secure the area. But anyway, it's funny. It's cute. She just makes a comment about writing reports. Mo-yeon, like, says goodbye to the heels of her shoes. And again, it's, like, dorky, but it's funny. And then they cut to a slow motion shot of all of them walking together in, like, the soldiers in uniform and, like, the doctors in their outfits. And I said, it's like the Avengers.
I like that you noted that because I was watching and I was like, I was thinking this reminds me of something. Like, this looks funny and weird. I can't figure out why. And you're totally right. It's totally a Marvel's superhero intro, outro.
Yeah.
God.
And that's the end.
That's it. They're going to save more lives, which is great.
Yes. And we get the very classic K-drama thing. So, at the very last episode, instead of stills from that episode, they show, like, pictures from behind the scenes. So
yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. And so usually they all end with, like, a really big, like, crew shot of, like, all of them together.
That's
so
cool.
It's sweet. But, yeah.
I loved it.
Good. It's
wonderful.
I'm so thrilled. Let's get to some fashion.
Okay.
Yes, God!
So, I liked the look that Myungju and Daeyoung had when they meet up when she first gets back to Korea. And I did not like Myungju and Moyeon's outfits at the wedding.
I don't remember Myungju's outfit, but I remember Moyeon's outfit and thinking it was very strange.
I feel like they're so old-fashioned for how young they are.
And, like, normally these girls dress pretty good outside of their uniforms. Like, they wear nice fitted clothing that just, it looks good on their bodies.
And, like, Myungju wore a normal outfit to the wedding in Korea. I mean, it was white, but she did that on purpose.
Yeah, but it was still, like, a nice dress. Nice outfit.
Yeah, Myungju's outfit, and you've seen Gilmore Girls, right? It almost looked like a sweater set that Emily Gilmore would wear. It was like a little shell thing.
Maybe I blocked it out.
That had like the little, I don't know, like embroidery or like detailing around the collar, and then like a little matching jacket that had that same like trim. Yeah, I was like, you guys are dressing like you're freaking 80 years old, and you guys are so cute. Like, what happened here? I know. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Weddings when you dress it up.
I know.
You look good.
And I also really wanted to see Yewa's dress because Nurse Choi was like, it was so unique. And I wanted to be like, well, what does it look like?
And she's like super interesting looking too. She's very exotic looking.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see her like in a full, beautiful outfit for a big celebration.
Yeah.
Versus just like shorts and stuff like she was wearing in Uruk.
Yeah, totally. And then Dr. Daniel in a tuxedo. Nice.
Nice, yeah,
nice
very
stuff. Nice. Oh, the other thing, I was thinking like, well, maybe their outfits. I'm just still stuck on their wedding outfits.
How bad they are.
Yes, and I was thinking like, no, I've seen other dramas of people at weddings, Korean weddings, and they dress like normal, like how you would dress.
Yeah, they don't dress like super uppity and like old fashioned out of respect or anything.
Yeah, like. If anything, sometimes I think I have seen it look a little bit more like on the businessy side. Like I've seen like where women wear like slacks and like a blazer. But I mean, I've also seen that like at American weddings, and women are like in dresses or skirts or whatever. So
they just made bad choices.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck, guys? I don't remember what Nurse Choi was wearing.
I don't remember either.
But I feel like it was cuter, so we'll just go with that. What else?
Especially since she probably wanted to up Yewa.
Oh, poor Nurse Choi. Just be with
Kim Ki Bum. Kim Ki Bum. He's the one. Go with him.
Yeah, and then you can talk to Moyeon about all your soldier boyfriend issues. So cute. Okay, do you have any other fashiony things?
I do not. I'm ready to go to I Love You.
I love you.
I love you. I will always love you.
I love you. Okay, what is your I love you moment?
My I love you moment is when Young appears in the snow. Because it's so beautiful. And then that first line he gives her, it's all just incredible. Also, again, because I did not read that fucking spoiler from Hulu, so I didn't know if he came back or not. So I was just like hoping that he was going to be okay too. But we hadn't seen him. So I was very happy to see him. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah, and the snow. And
yeah, it's all just so romantic and pure and just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mine was that, but also Kim Ki-bum and Jae-young. I love them.
Absolutely.
I love them. And then I gave an honorable mention to Nurse Ha and Dr. Song. Okay, Jill, so this was your first ever K-drama.
Yes.
You said you loved it earlier in the show. What are your thoughts overall?
I really enjoyed it. I really didn't come in with any expectations for a K-drama or what I wanted from it. But I think it checked every box of like things that I like.
Good.
Especially this one. Like there was a lot of action. There was romance, funny, it was intense, made you cry. It was a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to pick this one specifically, because it does have everything. I really like how K-dramas have, like, a start point and an end point.
Yeah.
Like, very rarely do they get second or third seasons, so you get, like, a complete story. Whereas I feel like with other countries' TV shows, like, they can just kind of go on end. Which
and it gets a little ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah.
Our 4th Halloween episode.
Yeah. But so I'm really glad you liked it. And I look forward to doing more podcasts and watching more dramas with you. So I've kind of told you about some dramas, but do you think you'll watch some outside of the podcast?
Yes. There's 2 that I would like to see, which one was Healer that you suggested.
Yes.
And then also, Strong Girl, or Strong, was it Strong Woman or Strong Girl?
Netflix calls it Strong Girl, but everywhere else is Strong Woman.
Okay.
Soon, so.
I would like to watch that. You talked about that like months ago.
Yeah.
And I thought that one sounded interesting and
fun. Those are both cool. Those both have a lot of action in them too. I'm currently watching Healer, and it's so hard to stop. I'm embarrassed. I'm already on, like, episode 15.
Don't be embarrassed.
And
That's me. That's me watching stuff.
I started, like, on Thursday, I think.
Nice.
And we're recording this on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So, but I stayed up real late this whole weekend just being like, just one more. But that's what they do. Mm-hmm. What else? I guess that's it.
I think that might be it.
Yeah. Speaking of Strong Girl, we talked about this off mic, but how they're bringing it to the US.
Yes.
I'm so fucking nervous. We're probably going to have a little mini pod.
Yeah, I would really like mini episodes to discuss the Americanized versions of these shows.
I'm nervous, but we'll see what happens. So we are finishing up Descendants of the Sun. We will have a special episode next week.
Yes.
With some special guests, kind of going over the whole series and our final thoughts and feelings on it. And then we start Romance as a Bonus Book.
Yes, I'm excited.
So exciting. So I guess all that's left is to follow us on our social media. Instagram at OK Drama Podcast. Facebook, OK Drama Podcast. Twitter at OK Drama Pod. And our email is okdramapodcast@gmail.com. Stay in touch. We'd love to talk to you guys about anything. Really.
Yeah.
Any drama, whatever. And so we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.